everyone. It's Kirsten Liebelt. Good to see you guys. It's Friday. We love Friday around here. Who loves Friday? I love Friday so much. I don't know what it is. I feel like maybe it's just ingrained, right? We just are like, yep, that means the weekend is here. And so we get to be out of our normal routine a little bit. So I'm so glad that you guys are popping in today. I'm so excited. We actually, as you know, if you were on yesterday, my husband and I took like 3 days and we were 3-4 days and we were in Clearwater Beach, Florida. And I'm from Minnesota, by the way. And we spent some time down there just hanging and having fun, getting sun, walking and, holding hands and sitting on the beach and doing all the things. And so I wanted to yesterday I talked about metabolic flexibility and insulin resistance. And today I wanted to have a minute to go through some of my pictures so that I could remember the different things that I was eating on vacation so that I could bring that to you guys today. This kind of is like in my way there. There we go. So that I could bring that to you guys today, because guess what? I actually did have a couple of treats and I want to tell you what they are and then how that fits into my journey. Because I've been on this journey now for a little while, right? If you do not know my background and where I started with all of this, I want to give you kind of a snapshot. Before I do, I want to remind you that Monday, in 3 days, Monday, March 10th, we are starting our 22nd 5-day insulin resistant reset. It's like a 5-day challenge. And if you are looking, like if you're just tired of the noise, you're jumping from one, literally, I had somebody recently say that they tried something and 30 days later, they're like, I'm already on to something different. Moving on. Didn't work for me. Like what? Like you're misunderstanding the journey, right? However, if you would like a step-by-step, nugget after nugget, like simple, streamlined way to be able to actually turn back around your insulin resistance and to incorporate good things into your life without giving up being a foodie, then you're in the right place. Like just hunker down for just a half a second, hit the follow button, share the content, do all of those things. And on Monday, we'll start our 5-day reset. Okay. Now, many of you have done many of them. This is what we do. You don't require yourself to get all of your knowledge and information in one moment of time. You do not require your body to come on, speed it up, baby, move faster, come on, and make your body like it's a slave master to your wills and your wants because you have a freaking wedding coming up. But instead, you give yourself permission for a journey. Okay. And this will make more sense here in even just a couple of minutes. Good morning, Megda. Good to see you. Teresa, good to see you. Terry, you can't wait for your 10th reset. That's amazing, Terry. 10th reset. That is really, really quite something. And I'm going to tell you something about Terry. So pretend I'm not talking about you, Terry. When you actually embrace that concept of I'm going to give myself permission to actually turn back what has been really frustrating in my life. And maybe it's that you can't zip up your jeans very well. For Terry, I know that one of her non-scale victories ended up being that she could tuck in her shirt. How many people just want that? I've literally written that down in a journal before. Can't say that I still tuck in my shirt all the time, but I'm just telling you, like, these are things that we think about, right? And what Terry ended up doing was in 8 months, she changed out her food ingredients. Okay, so she had to stop what got her into the pickle to begin with. We cover that in the challenge. She started the targeted supplementation that I talk about and share. It's exactly where I started. I teach you guys the exact same thing. And I don't always remember what everybody is taking out of everything. This is kind of a system in and of itself right here. And some people are taking partials and, whatever. So I never remember completely. So I apologize for that. But there's a gut primer and a probiotic and supplementation for insulin resistance turnaround and a fat burner. It's a clinical extract. But in 8 months at 62 years old, so stop thinking you're old. Stop thinking you're too old. She lost 40 pounds. Was it 40, Terry? Now my brain is questioning me. But I'm just telling you, Hey, Ruth, good to see you. Hey, Jan. Oh, good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. And I'm just telling you, like, you can actually make 2025 lay down, like sit down and shut up. I'm on a mission. I'm going to move forward. Phyllis, good morning. Arkansas, 40 plus, Terry says. 40 plus in 8 months at 62. So here we go. Jump into the group. It's called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. If you need to go to my site, it's kirstenliebelt.com. There's a button to get into the community right there. You don't have any barriers in front of you to give you an opportunity to self-sabotage. The supplements are all on there. You can find the trio, the gut reset protocol. You can look for the little fire emoji if you're wanting to lose inches, those types of things, right? But get in and get yourself in a position. Like, you have to position yourself. You have to choose. And you know what? If you're going to be a hopper of systems, you're not going to get the results you're looking for. And I'm just going to be super plain with you. Like, you're going to have to like settle down and settle in and give your body a chance to shift, give your mind a moment to recalibrate, because there's a lot of mindset involved. And you have to decide who you resonate and who you connect with so that you can be on this journey. You're hitching your wagon to somebody else's star. That's what you're doing. You're hitching your wagon to my results. Okay. And there's no gatekeeping. I tell you exactly what I did to get exactly where I am. Targeted supplements, ingredient trade outs. I'm Italian, all of the things, right? And so I did want to share like how I kind of navigated my vacation because of that. But when I entered my 50s, I just turned 60. Okay. So just to give you a gauge, I entered my 50s right around 51. I decided I better do something about my food. And when I started to trade out my ingredients, I had already started my supplementation, but I knew that I need, and which, by the way, that's where my food noise went like this. Boom. And I was like, well, that's kind of interesting, because the reason why I didn't do food right away was because I didn't think I could. I didn't think that I would ever make these changes. I never did, because I'm Italian and it was very, very ingrained in me. Okay. But over the course of time, then I ended up losing over three sizes. I'll just say it that way. 3 sizes now in my 50s. And that was literally after my cycle had stopped. So don't think that your metabolism is shot. You're just getting old. You're too old. You're blah, blah. Stop it. Stop with all of that. And instead, hitch your wagon to somebody else's results, do exactly what they did, and you can get the same results too, most likely. There are factors I can't factor in. I can't factor in if you have a list of medications that you're on that are really hindering you. I can't factor in, different, like if you have different ailments or maladies that, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not a doctor, right? However, I will say though that Sue, my friend, in 1 year, she lost 50 pounds and she's off of 10 meds. And this, she just texted me within the last 30 days. So FYI, any excuse you have, I have a testimony that can override your excuse. All right. So I know, Ruthie, isn't that amazing? 40 pounds. So the reason why I wanted then to chat with you about this is because if I can get to this point, anybody can get to this point. You have no idea. You literally have no idea, because you see me now and, having confidence around, food and blah, 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 and my supplementation. And I'm very consistent and I take it on vacation with me and I do all my things. You do not know where I came from. You don't know how I was with, sweets and treats and sugar. And I mean, major sugar addict. And I grew up in an Italian family where you literally every food was for everything. It didn't matter. Like, tell me what you're, are you celebrating? Let's eat. Are you crying? Let's eat. Are you bored? Let's eat. Like, that was it. And it was good food. Like, you had to have good food because we're going to judge the food and it better be good. Right? Does that make sense? And so, that was never a part of my plan. It was not on my bingo card in my 50s to figure out my food, become a supplementing person. Like, I would have considered that to be a granola person, and to lose 3 sizes and to then be the only person in my family, my immediate Italian family, to have avoided type 2 diabetes. I'm the only one. And I'm 60, no meds, no type 2 in sight. I know exactly, in my opinion, of course, because it's all about my own opinion. It has to be, because I'm not a doctor. But I'm just saying, like, in my opinion, I know exactly how to do this. And I know exactly how to help other people. There are a lot of things that I don't do well. I mean, there is a long list. I could give you a long list of things. I was never an athlete. I was never, I did not know how to compete. I did not know how to challenge myself. I am not an organizer. I am not very good at that. I don't like to clean. I'm not an amazing, I know how to clean, but I don't like it. But there are a lot of things that I'm not good at. This I'm good at. I'm really good at helping you guys get results. I'm really good at it. So stick with me. Stick around the fire. All right. So this is what happened. I'm going to tell you first, I'm going to tell you at the beginning, the first mistake that I made going into vacation. Who wants to know the first mistake I made? Okay. So I already know in general, like how to navigate restaurants, how to navigate my own food, whatever. And, I'm not bothered by my own limitations, like at all. Like they don't bother me because I'm still a foodie and I still love the foods that I eat. And I'll just come home and make the food that I love. And I'm not worried about it. For me, eating out is the exception. If I end up having a meal that I didn't love, I actually don't care because I'm going to come home and make something that I am really excited about. So it's a flip. It's a flip of the switch for me. And it took a while. But what we did was on Sunday, when we were going to head out of town, we got to the airport really super early, which was really unusual. And so my son, who was taking us to the airport, we're like, you know what, let's go stop at a coffee shop and grab some coffee. And I got the little egg bites, from Starbucks, and which I love, the bacon and Gruyere. I actually never, ever, ever go to Starbucks. They are not my favorite place at all on the face of the planet. Like I avoid them like the plague. They're just not, I don't like their coffee. I don't like they're not my thing. But I'm like, I remember the egg bites. Let's go. So we go and I love those egg bites. They're really good. Bacon and Gruyere cheese. But I ordered a large, cold brew with a little bit of cream and some sugar-free caramel. Okay, perfect. Well, that was just a lot of coffee. And coffee is, can anybody fill in the blank? Coffee is dehydrating. So that was not a smart decision at all. I actually don't drink a lot of coffee. I drink coffee like maybe on a weekend when we go to church and I'll get a coffee at the coffee shop, but I don't wake up and drink coffee. It's just not my thing. It used to be in my 30s. That's how I gained so much weight. I drank International Delight coffee creamer every day, all day. My friend who became my friend within 3 months gained 10 pounds just by being my friend, because that's what I did. But I've just changed that habit. It's not my thing. I don't care so much anymore. Okay. So do the coffee thing, whatever. Okay, fine. So I get on the airplane and, they literally do not even offer you peanuts anymore. This is Delta. They don't even offer you honey roasted nuts, which I wasn't going to eat anyway, but any kind of nut would have been great, but prices and all that stuff, I'm sure. So every little thing that they offered was carb, everything. It was literally, there was not one thing without, white flour in it. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I just ordered like a little club soda. They give you these little cute cans. And I love having something carbonated in that moment. I used to be such a soda drinker, such a pop drinker, but it's not very often that I care about having a pop. Like it's literally maybe twice a year I have a soda. Again, it's not for me. It's not my thing. My mom was addicted to Diet Coke. Drinking Diet Pops for me is like, I already know that I'm going to have enough crap into my life just by default. I don't need to add it. Whatever. So a little club soda, and that's fine. So we get there and all that stuff. And when we got in and we went out for dinner, the first thing that I have, and this is one of my defaults. So here's like tip number one. Maybe you already know this, but this is my default. If I go someplace and I think that they're going to have good wings, I'm going to have their wings and I'm going to ask for a dry rub. And even if dry rub isn't on the menu, ask for the dry rub because they're probably seasoning the wings anyway before they do whatever they're doing. They probably have a dry rub back there. Now, is it going to be perfectly clear from sugar? I don't know. I do not ask all of the ingredients. I already know the obvious sugars. Asian, sauces, barbecue, like I already know. So I do the best I can in the place that I'm at. Are they going to be fried in beef tallow? No, they're going to be fried in seed oils. And I know that going in, okay? I already know that it's going to be a steep climb to expect that restaurants are going to do as I want them to do, right? So I just know this. And I compensate with supplementation, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, okay. Then the next thing was another meal that we had was, now we're down in Florida, praise God. So we definitely wanted to be trying some seafood. That's definitely on the list. I tried some salmon at one point. Did I try salmon? I'm trying to remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We did peel and eat shrimp, which was very good in garlic butter. And, was the butter cut with a seed oil? Probably, like, it's what they do. But the peel and eat shrimp was really, really good. It was obviously extremely fresh and that tasted great. And then I ordered this crab roll. I wasn't super impressed with it, but I just ate the inside of the hot dog bun, which was basically like, a crab salad instead of a chicken salad or a tuna salad. It was okay. It just whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then they did have some kettle chips. And I actually tried a couple of kettle chips because that used to be, now this is a huge victory for me. You have to hear me when I say this, like my junk food of choice, hands down, get out of my way, was Trader Joe's salt and pepper kettle chips. I love kettle chips, love, with a big heart. I'll get a heart on Instagram for that. Love kettle chips. They're crunchy. They're perfect. Perfect salt and everything. And Trader Joe's has, I think they put like a garlic powder on theirs. And so that used to be something that in my life was, like I just would never have that in the house because that would be foolish. And so I stopped buying those years ago now because, like I said, I started at 51 and now I'm 60. But I don't even think that I have had a kettle chip in probably 7 years. For real, like, why would I have? I don't know. I just don't. And even if it's being served to family and whatever. And I thought, well, I'm actually going to take a kettle chip and like scoop up the crab, because they didn't give me a fork and they were busy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's great. Yeah. But it didn't derail me at all. Like at all. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like, people are like, well, do you supplement forever? And I'm like, yeah, I kind of do because I want my food noise completely gone. Like I know y'all that are getting injections. You know you're not going to do those forever. You go in knowing you're not going to do that forever because that would be unwise to have monthly injections that you can't sustain that, right? Your body can't sustain that. You might be able to do it for a long period of time, but first of all, insurance isn't going to cover that. And second of all, it's like you can't have steroids forever either, right? Like there are things, but I can take my trio and I can keep my food noise mixed with my food choices. I can keep everything at bay and it does. So that was the second one of the other meals. Meal number 2, because I didn't take a picture of everything as I'm going back through my camera. I'm trying to remember. No school today. Youngest granddaughter here for a visit. Catch you on the replay. Bye, Terry. Oh, that's fantastic. Switch to JetBlue, Magda. Get the nuts and seltzer water. I wonder if they have, you're hilarious. Yes, because JetBlue is out of New York, isn't it, Magda? I don't think we're a hub for JetBlue, but that is a really good, I'm going to remember that now. I should have been prepared, to be really honest. I should have had my own nuts with me. Normally I think that way, but anyway, that's okay. You're so funny. Yeah. So then another Another meal that I had was they did a ribeye sandwich. Now, this is where I actually ended up having a treat. Okay, so track this. So it's like a ribeye. It was a really thin ribeye with grilled onions and peppers, and then they gave me fruit. Now the fruit, and I chose the fruit as opposed to French fries, etc. And I said I would like this without a bun. So it was a ribeye steak with like cheese and then grilled onions and peppers, and then this cup of fruit. And I knew the fruit wasn't going to be what I normally eat. Like it's just not going to be. Berries are your most expensive fruit. So it was berries, perfect, blueberries, cantaloupe and muskmelon and honeydew, perfect. I would, I don't normally eat those all the time, but that's fine. But then there was definitely like a lot of pineapple in there. And so I kind of snacked on the pineapple, and that was great because I never eat pineapple. But then my husband went and he ordered a salted caramel cheesecake. Are you kidding me? And actually, to be really honest, I usually am like, again, I'm kind of a little bit of whatever, because I'll come home and make my own Maria Emmerich cheesecake. I'm just like, I already know how to like trade these things out at home. But I thought, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy this moment, and I'm going to try the cheesecake. And it was great. It was really, really good. It had like I took like a couple bites, and it had like this nut sugar base to it. Amazing. Amazing. This restaurant was really, really good. Their food, every time we went there, was really good. Anyway, so I did that. I took a couple of bites of that. Totally didn't derail me, nothing like that. Then I started to really gauge the fact that like we walked and we walked and we probably walked miles down there. So remember, like here's a little side note. When you do keto, some of the biggest mistakes that people make on keto is they think that they can just eat as much as they want. Mistake number one. And they think that they can eat as much fat as they want. Mistake number two. This will stall you out. Nuts are high in fat. I already know that I will overeat nuts if given the chance. So I don't buy and keep mixed nuts in my house. And when I can swap out anything that's high fat with, how do I say this without messing up this message? I do not buy fat-free anything. If I'm going to eat something, it's going to be full fat because the carbs are going to be lower. When you go fat-free skim milk, it's very high in sugar spiking. Okay. So I'm going to buy full fat cottage cheese, full fat yogurt or higher fat, full fat, whatever, sour cream, cottage cheese. You get my drift. I'm going to do that. However, I'm not going to just binge on fat all day long, but I'm going to balance my fat, because if I'm hungry all the time, I'm probably not getting enough fat. But if I'm overeating fat, I'm not going to lose weight. So there's a balance. Maria Emmerich has a free macro calculator. Go and look it up. You can go to mariamindbodyhealth.com and type in free macro calculator. Okay. And that will help you to see how high your protein needs to be, because it's way up there, girlfriend. It's way up there. How moderate your fat needs to be, opposite of all the other keto influencers. Eat fat bombs, put fat in your coffee, bulletproof coffee. No, that is super, super bad advice. And then how low your carbs actually have to be. Full, not nut. And you'll get a better gauge. And then you'll learn how to kind of run your own life. Okay. And so having said that, there's no question I overate in calories. There's no question I overate in fat. There's no question. But we offset it by walking and walking and walking and walking. And it was great. I loved that, because then we were getting all that good movement and exercise. And you should know that one of your greatest hacks is to, even as you're doing well, even as you chose a good meal for yourself, go and get a 20-minute walk in, because it will, whatever it did, spike your blood sugars. Because at the beginning, when you were at the beginning, your blood sugars are still like, wow, they're not playing nice. They're not there. You could have just a little crumb of something and it shoots you to the moon. Right. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is just I look at food and I gain weight. I just look at sugar and my sugars go up. That that's kind of like almost a true thing, right? Where you get to this point where you are really unstable. Your systems are unstable. But I want you to know that over time, when you train your body to become a fat burner instead of a sugar burner, you literally cross over and you can stabilize on the other side so that you don't have a bite and it spikes you to the moon. That's why it's so important that you don't take advice from people who are not insulin resistant. If you are tracking your sugars, if you're trying to get off of meds, if you're trying to turn back your type 2, I always, this is a side note. Has anybody watched the TV show, the series, The Gilmore Girls? Has anybody ever watched that series? I'd love to know. Put it in the comments if you have. And I remember the first time that I watched through the series on, whatever. Thanks for the hearts. Thank you. On TikTok, you guys are amazing. I remember thinking, this is ridiculous. And it is. It's so ridiculous, you guys. And you have to just understand that this is how this gets into our brain. Your brain maybe says, I'm broken. Your brain says, everybody else gets to, I don't. Your brain says, if I eat well, I'm denying myself. I'm living in deprivation land, and I am punishing myself by eating food that I would prefer to eat other versions of. And that's just not true at all. So in the Gilmore Girls, what you see is this mom, she had her daughter when she was 16. And so now they kind of are growing up together is the idea. And they literally make fun the entire series about how if they eat a piece of healthy food, like what's wrong with them? They live on ding dongs and ho-hos and frozen pizzas and Cheetos and you name it, like the list. It's literally all junk food all the time and coffee. And that's their diet. It's such an, we don't even recognize maybe in things like that, how that affects us in thinking that, oh, well, the rest of the world is living that way. Why can't I? Or it can't be that bad, right? But that's not true. So somebody who is not insulin resistant at all, like their body is functioning, it's running like the Porsche it was created to run, man, their body takes in food like that. And for a while, because it does catch up with you, your liver can't do this forever. Your liver will tap out. But anyway, after a while, for a while, your body will process it. We're processing, we're doing good until it's not. So now that you know you're on the other side of insulin resistance and you're just starting your journey, maybe don't be messing around. Don't be tempting it all the time. Listen, I'm going to be a spoiler alert. I'm going to ruin the ending for you. If you're at the beginning of your journey, your body's not going to process it well again. Like you have to stop requiring your body to do something that it's not going to do because you're making yourself crazy pants. So don't do that. Good morning, Patty. Oh, you're good. Yeah, you're so good, Patty. Good to see you. And so just know that. You're like, why does it take so long? Why can't I be fixed in, why can't I do 8 months like Terry did and lose 40 pounds? I don't really have an answer for you in one sentence. There are probably many factors, right, in anybody's given life. And it has to do with prescription meds. It has to do with how you're actually transitioning your foods, maybe how you're not. It took me a long time. I didn't do it all in 8 months. I'm so glad she did, but I didn't. I was like rewarding myself with sweet potato fries. I mean, I'm just telling you, like that was my truth. Okay. So don't think that your body is going to, well, I can just cheat here and I can cheat there and I literally didn't for years. I mean, I still don't. Like I had a bite of his cheesecake in one meal. And then the last night we had, he ordered a piece of upside down apple pie. And actually, no, the cheesecake had a graham cracker crust. I did not eat that. I went straight for just the cheesecake because I just didn't want all the flour. But the apple pie had the nut. sugar base. And so there was this upside down something with vanilla ice cream. And I took a few bites of that too. And absolutely nothing that I did derailed me or messed me up. I'm just in a different place. But I want you to have hope. I want you to know that you don't live here forever. But I will say that I do live in my place for about 99% of the time. It's a high ratio. I'm not going to blow smoke and tell you that I'm an 80-20 girl. I had to literally denounce 80-20. 80-20 is not for those who are insulin resistant and actually want results. It's not. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not. You're going to be frustrated. If you're out there buying a bunch of keto prepackaged food, one last thing that I did do was we walked to a Walgreens, and I grabbed, and this is something maybe once a year, maybe once every other year. Like, this is very rare for me, but I did it just knowing that I did not have any control over our schedule or anything. And I bought 2 Quest bars. Has anybody ever had a Quest bar? Definitely would not be something I would keep in my house. They're not even that good. I was going to bring my whey protein, my grass-fed whey protein, and I thought at the last minute, I don't want to have to figure out how to mix it up. I already knew that I was going to be figuring out my gut primer in the morning, mixing that up. I didn't want to have little shaker cups, and because it was such a short period of time. So I bought 2 Quest bars, and then what I would do is I would, because if I wanted to just get in some extra protein, I would eat half of one. And then I set it aside. But also too, because a lot of those products will upset your tummy. And I wasn't interested in having any extra gas on my trip. Like, I'm enjoying my trip. And they use just a lot of really wonky, sweeteners and stuff, and it messes with my tummy. So I would just do a little bit of a half. Okay. Because again, this is my mental backup. Okay. Y'all have things in your life where you want to have a backup available. Like, it's probably an old track in my brain. If you think that, well, you might go somewhere and they might not have something for you, that you're going to make a choice, even though I pretty much figure it out all the time, but there's still kind of a something, right? So that's what I did. I grabbed 2 of those and I kept them available, whatever. But that's pretty much kind of how that went. And so get your hopes up, get yourself freaking encouraged. Stop thinking that, number one, this can't be turned around. And good to see you, Linda. Good to see you. And number 2, stop thinking that this works for everybody except for you. That's not true. So again, if you want a step-by-step, nugget by nugget, like a resource after a resource, like, hit your wagon to my results. Like, this is what I do now. Now I help the person I used to be. You are who I used to be. I know what's in your head some of the time, most of the time, because just ask me how I know, right? I know what it feels like to be a 2X and to be frustrated that you can't just go shopping. I'm a large, and I would still like to, and I'm kind of a pear, so I'm wider in my hips. And so I'm really glad that my hips are going down with the Orange Pixie, because I honestly did not believe, 100% did not believe until this launched in August, that I was ever going to not have parts of my hips that just protrude in whatever. I just assumed this was my limiting belief up until 5 months ago, 6 months ago. See, we have these, we don't even know we have them. Well, I am going to be 60. So guess it is what it is. I'll just keep buying clothes. That makes sense. Right? Not even knowing that, oh, I actually could have my hips become more narrow right here. What? Like, I didn't know, right? So as my body, this is a body composition changer. Taking the trio is helping you to bring down your insulin and your sugars and help your liver, because you may not know this, that if your sugars are high, if your insulin is high in your body, you're never going to burn fat. It's a biological conversation. It's a hormonal conversation, because insulin is a hormone. And if your liver isn't functioning, Well, you're not going to burn fat. It's your fat metabolizing organ. So this is dealing with your systems from the inside out. Lift up the hood. This is where I started a little over 10 years ago. This is where I started. Lift up the hood. You're working on the inside engine of your vehicle to get results that will show up. Okay. This is a cellular internal engine conversation. Okay. It's not magic. It's not, I had a word, it left me, but it's not like, here's some magic potion or just add fiber. And no, this is literally, let's get your body back to function again, because it went down below function. It kind of dipped below function. It kind of went, it's kind of what it's doing, kind of in the ditch. Get your body out of the ditch, get it up and running. Okay. And then, going back to that conversation about that worst mistake that I made was to have all that coffee before I got on a plane and sat, and I just dehydrated my body. That was really silly. Like, I don't know why I did that, but I then immediately was not as regular as I wanted to be. And I'm like, oh, no way. That's not my world. I'm not okay with that. So what I did, I'm going to give you a tip. So if you are taking the gut primer, okay, the gut primer, this is the one that has the 6 blends, and it looks like a greens product, but it's actually 6 different products in one. And it's everything from alkaline spices to fermented greens to the digestive enzymes that you need, especially if you don't have a gallbladder, pre-postbiotic. I mean, it has a lot in it. It just has so much in it. So I take this every morning. Okay. Take this every morning. But what I did do was then on Monday, I took it in the morning. And when I realized that wasn't, my world wasn't the way that I wanted it to be, I took an extra dose at night before I went to bed. Okay. So I just want you to know that if you feel like you got yourself into a pickle, you're traveling, you're off schedule, whatever it is, you didn't drink as much water and it was 80 degrees out and whatever, you can keep your systems moving, because that's going to help you with impacted waste and inflammation and nutrient leakage out of your gut with leaky gut and spilling over those nutrients and not being able to use them. And, energy, you're fatigued and your liver is tired. That's all that. Okay. But when it comes to the fat burner that I talk about, the pixie stick, I shouldn't have taken it because I could open it. It's just a powder. Literally, if you want your supplements to taste like candy, that's what this is. That's what this is. And one box is 30 days. In 30 days, the results have been with you guys about 1 inch off of, like, because if you're measuring under your bra, your waist and your hips, 1 inch is what I'm hearing after 30 days. I would say that's exactly what I experienced. 90 days, I have a testimony 3.5 inches from under the bra, 2 inches off the waist, and 1 inch off the hip. Okay, in 90 days. So do a 90-day run and then take a 30-day break. Then do another 90-day run, take a 30-day break, because it is a thermogenic and your body will get used to it and you don't want to do that. And then the last piece on that is they launched a brand new customer promo in March. They've never done this before. It's an ongoing promo. It's not going away right now anytime soon. But when you spend 150 subtotal or more a month, and you do it for 3 months in a row, on that 3rd month, they're going to take $75 off of your order. That is huge. I've never seen this before. You have to be a registered customer. Do not check out as a guest. It will not count towards your universe. It does count on auto ships. I called the company this week. I'm being very over exaggerated because I want people to know, because all of a sudden we were like, oh, what if this doesn't count on auto ships? And I'm like, excuse me, hello? Because a lot of you want to have auto ships. I had somebody I helped the other day and she's like, please just help me set up an auto ship. I'm not super techie and I do not want to have to go put things in my cart over and over and over again. I'm like, no problem. So we got on the phone. That's the benefit of actually knowing the person you're working with. being able to actually have contact with the person you're working with. The GNC kid might not help you, right? And I was just able to walk her through setting that up because she wants to like have more brain space. And I feel like that's wisdom. So Magda, tell me what you're saying. I love it when Magda tells me stuff because she's always got really good information. So Magda is the one that lost the 3.5 inches off from under her bra, 2 inches off her waist, and 1 off of her hips. And she says she was injecting herself 3 to 4 times a day back in August, September of 2024. Then I took myself off of it and I never looked back. I did share this with my doctor at the time. Now I alternate between the thermogenic and the metabolic way Tell me what you mean by that, Magda. As was taught to us when the gentleman did the Zoom. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yep. Do you mean you're doing the metabolic pre and post? Tell me what you mean by that, Magda, because I'm not sure. I'm so proud of you. Do you want to know why I'm proud of her? I'm so proud of you, Magda, because, hold on. Not everybody takes a chance on themselves. Not everybody trusts their internal dialogue. Not everybody is willing to go on a journey. Like I said, I just had somebody recently, 30 days on one plan didn't work for me. I'm on to the next, baby, because you are just so sure that there's going to be a quick fix somewhere for you. Even though that's not how it works, but still you're searching for that quick, fast fix. And I want to come along and say, listen, excuse me. When I look back, I do not think, oh, God, I lost 3 sizes, but man, it took me 3 to 4 years to stop using carb blocker. Like, that was such a waste of my life. What a waste of time and energy and focus and intentionality. I mean, I did lose 3 sizes, but geez Louise. Like, do you understand? I will never say that ever. I'm so happy that I took my 50s and I said, that's it. I'm figuring this out. Now, had you told me it was going to take me 3 to 4 years just to get off of carb blocker, I would have said, are you serious right now? Am I really that bad off that it's going to be that hard for me? Well, I didn't know. No timelines were given to me because I was doing this all on my own. Now I'm just talking to people who are where I was. So giving yourself permission to journey, giving yourself kudos for like knowing, like she said, she took herself off of her injections that were 3 to 4 times a day. What were the injections, Magda? Can you tell me what they were? She did it. And then she went to her doctor and said, FYI, this is what I'm doing. Now, you just have to know that like you are the consumer of your healthcare. You are the consumer. If you have a doctor that's telling you you can have 50 grams of carbs at every meal and you're a type 2 diabetic, fire them and go find another provider. Because that's trash advice. You will never heal. You will, in my opinion, you will never get off of meds. You will probably never lose a pound, ever. And you'll stay medicated, which is their goal. You never took carb blockers and didn't know they existed. I do want to try a glucose monitor system. Yeah, Julie, I feel like I never did because it wasn't really available to me and I didn't know to ask for it. You have to understand, like I was like, I'm not gonna actually go find out what's going on in my body. Like I can already tell by all my symptoms. I don't want to go to a doctor. I was so afraid of what they would tell me. And so I didn't research anything. I just lived inside of my head. Like, I'm just gonna figure this out on my own. Oh man. I feel like my audio has been off on my Facebook, sorry. Okay. What were the injections, Megda? 3 to 4 times a day. Was that insulin? So she took on the whole plan. Megda did the whole plan. And Megda, do you do the gut primer? And if you don't have time to answer me, that's okay. Don't feel pressured, because I know people are doing other things while listening. Insulin. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So think about that. Oh my gosh. What an amazing testimony. Amazing. Amazing. So what she's saying is, she was taking the trio, and then she added in a couple of other things, and I'll tell you what she did for anybody else that wants to know and understand what she's talking about. In December, we had an expert come in, and they talked to us about how to basically deal with insulin resistance with this supplementation thought process. So everything that I had already been teaching you, he came in and he confirmed, and then he added to. So she was already doing the trio, right? Which is for your sugars, your insulin, your liver, your metabolism, etc. So she starts doing this. And she also then added in the Pixie Stick. This is a clinical dose of an extract that is very much targeting your visceral fat, which is in your trunk area. So from right under your bra is the way that I say it, to the top of your hip socket, your trunk, where you have all the visceral fat. It's why you end up with fatty liver. You end up with fat around your organs. It's all based on coming from insulin resistance. It's not coming because you ate a ribeye. It's coming because of insulin resistance. Okay. And so it's targeting that, right? And this was created as a sports nutrition product so that you can get a better workout. It doesn't make you feel anyway. It's not a pre-workout that makes you tingle, none of that. But it does heat up your cells inside of you. It's a thermogenic, it's a burner, if you know what I mean. Okay. So she starts taking this every day, and she does a 90-day run with it. Then what she does is she basically, what he said was this: if you're taking the thermogenic, go 90 days and then take a break. So she took a break, stopped for 30 days. While she was taking this, because her inches are going faster, right? Anytime you have faster loss, you want to protect your muscle. So he said, while you're taking the thermogenic, add on. There's a product in the line, it's called Lean Muscle. Add on the Lean Muscle while you're doing that, so that when you're losing fast inches, you're preserving your muscle at the same time. It's a CLA product. CLA is conjugated linoleic acid, and it helps to do that. It helps you to burn and preserve. And to be really super honest, 99.9999999% of CLA products are super trash. You have to have such an amazing purification system so that it is not a rancid dose of CLA. I can't even, that's a whole nother conversation. So she's taking that at the same time, and then she added in to her routine, there's a metabolic, it's a pre and postbiotic. I take this every morning. This is to help your metabolism, actual strains. And I don't talk about this one a lot. I do in my stories a little bit, but it's literally a metabolic pre and post. And they are strains that have been proven to help increase metabolism. So that's just another layer of what she's doing. So she has her whole system down that she's created based off of the information and the advice that he gave. Like, way to go, Magda. You are you're like a star student. You are a star student. And get this, like think about this. She was, just pause for a second. Whatever you're doing, just stop. In your mind, just stop. Did you hear what she said? She was taking 3 to 4 injections of insulin a day. That should make everybody pause. She's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to fix this naturally. I don't know what else to say, because I know that there's like a very high percentage of the population running around going, what do you mean type 2 is turnaroundable? What do you mean? Like, that's not true. And it's like, okay, well, do you want to have lunch with Magda? I mean, they're just not telling you that it is. Don't you understand? They're just withholding information and prescribing you meds. They're telling you that that's your only option. So, I mean, that's just amazing. So, hello, Joy. I love the name Joy. Makes me happy. Can I give an example of my lunch? You mean my lunch in general? I kind of do. This is how my life kind of goes. I end up having like 2 meals a day. And it's just the rhythm that I have rested into. And we even found out that that's kind of what we were doing on vacation. We weren't thinking we need to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We kind of woke up and we weren't starving, and we'd have our gut primer and take our supplements, and then we'd start walking and go to the beach or do whatever we were doing, drive around. And we just didn't care about food until about maybe noon, 11 noon, just depended. But that's my life here too. Like, so now 11 Central Standard Time, I did have breakfast before I got on this morning. So usually I'll have breakfast maybe about 10:30. And then I don't eat again until kind of later. And I do have a snack in between. So it's really more about like, I'll tell you what I had for breakfast today. And I would have had this if it was considered lunch. So I buy the Egg Life wraps. I had some scrambled eggs with taco meat, and I wrapped them up in my Egg Life wrap with some hot sauce. And I had 2 of them. So they were breakfast burritos. And I would do that for lunch or anything else. And I do a lot with Egg Life wraps. I know that, it's interesting because the price of those, they were high. They're still the same. They haven't gone up further. I'm a little shocked by that because eggs are so expensive, but for some reason they've stabilized in their price. And so when I look at something like that and I'm like, okay, it's $5 for 6 of them, because that's not, the most inexpensive thing you've ever purchased, but you can get them at Walmart and Aldi's and whatever. It's still way, way, way. I mean, you could buy a box of cereal for $5 and you're going to get like this much in a bag, and it's going to ruin your health. So I gauge everything by like, how is it making me feel? Like it's worth it for me. I just, it's all good. And I can take Egg Life wraps and make them into something sweet, or I can make them into something savory. And I love the balance of that, if that makes sense. Oh, see, I can tell I'm missing comments. I can tell. That's what your routine is as well, Patty. Yep. Because again, the 2 biggest mistakes that people are making when they eat keto, 2 biggest mistakes. Number 1, you're eating too much. You think you can eat as much as you want. Not if you want to lose weight. You can't. So calories do play a part. But it's the wrong thought process to say that it's all just only calorie in, calorie out. Meaning that you can eat, if you're eating 1,200 calories a day and you eat 1,200 calories in Oreos, it's the same as eating 1,200 calories in steak. That's a joke. That's not true. Your body doesn't even process it the same. I mean, meat is a thermogenic. Have you ever heard the term meat sweats? I mean, that's actually not a bad thing. They say it as a bad thing, but it's not. It literally takes so much more energy to burn meat in your body than it would take cereal. Cereal would like that, like a flash of energy. Anyway, that's another conversation. But so that calorie in, calorie out conversation is not helpful to anybody. But calories do play a role. Like I knew that if I'm overeating fat and calories on vacation, I was really glad we were walking our little butts off. I was very happy about that, right? Number 2 is that you can have as much fat as you want. That is not true, not if you want to lose fat. And fat loss is the goal. It is the goal, fat loss, not weight, fat loss. Because weight could be muscle, water, or impacted waste. That's not your goal. You need your body to get into fat burning mode so you can lose fat, so that you can bring down your overall weight of the load of stress on your body to be insulin resistant. It's a key to turning it back around, is you have to get some of the weight off, right? But you want fat to be gone. Ciao, Bella, Julie. Going to work out. Woohoo! You're amazing. Ciao, Bella. Crystal in the house. Good to see you, Crystal. Thank you for double tapping the screen. I so appreciate it. I so appreciate it. So that's kind of how I basically navigated my vacation. I hope that gives people hope that, that, listen, just stick to your turning back around, stick to getting your body up and running, stick to a commitment to stop requiring your body to do things that it's not going to do, and then sabotaging yourself every time you turn around. Just stick to that, okay? But, hang around this association. These women are the testimonies that these women have had, and that they can give to. These are just, you guys were all strangers to me when I started talking about this online, and you have taken it and you've ran with it, and you guys are the ones getting the result. You're doing the work, right? And the work is the brain work. It's the heart work. It's the making yourself be in a routine. Magda just didn't pull that, out of her ear one day and decide she was going to, be this disciplined supplementer, and she was going to have the structure and however no. But when she heard things, she went, I'm going to execute. I'm going to implement that. And she did it. I didn't do it. Right. But what I do bring to the table for you is every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, unless I'm traveling or it's a holiday, I am right here. And we're going to talk about how the very base of insulin resistance is freaking ruining your life. It's causing everything to be upside down, literally everything. We've talked about everything from frozen shoulder to gout to, like, you name it. It's the base foundation of everything. And that's my message. And then number 2, in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, every single month we do a 5-day reset challenge where you are able to go every day. I go live at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. The next one starts this Monday. And I will give you a nugget, a piece of your puzzle. If you have a 5-piece puzzle, I'm going to give you a piece of your puzzle every day for 5 days. And then I'm going to do it again next month. This is our 22nd one. So if you're like, I am so tired of listening to the noise of people saying, do it this way and do it this way and cut this corner and cut this, and you need this hack and then add this fiber. And then if you do the math of the formula of, like, centuries gone by, then you can get down to this is only, a half of a net carb. And, and if I eat in this direction, and if I do, stop it. Learn how to fish for life. Learn how to let go of the marketing that is trying to tell you gimmicks and just BS, so that you can actually heal, turn things around, get off of meds, change your size, change your body composition, get down on the floor with your babies, be able to travel, be able to, like, wake up and have energy, stop crashing in the middle of the day and needing to take naps, stop chasing carbs like your life depended on it, and then being mean to yourself because you have these urges that you don't know what to do with, and you assume it's just because you are a weight loss loser. Not the deal. It's not the dealio. Okay? Your body has biological responses to things that we've been doing, and it actually will keep you in a chasing mode because it wants energy and it wants you to get it for it right now. So we're going to learn that in the challenge. I'm going to teach you ingredient trade outs and pantry and fridge reveal and targeted supplements that can accelerate your process. Like, if you want to do it, you can do it slow or you can do it fast, and you can choose. Magda obviously wanted to do it fast because look at her go. Like, just look at the dust. Okay. And so for her, that's like amazing, right? And then we'll do a recipe and we'll get you resourced. So literally 5 pieces to your puzzle in 5 days, and we do it every month. And if that's a track you want to run on, and if that's something that's resonating with you, I will teach you without holding back anything, everything you need to know in order to move forward. And then when you realize it's going to take a little bit more than a month, a weekend or a month, and it might actually be a healing journey, that's where I'm right here. I'm right here. Just take a deep breath. I'm right here. Okay. So if you need information on any of the supplementation because you're like, I want to get started now, you can message me Trio for the 3 supplements that help with insulin sensitivity. If you want the fat burner to change your fat, your body composition, those are the inches that Magda has lost. You can put just message me a fire emoji. I'll know exactly what you mean. And if you know that you need the gut reset protocol, you can just literally put gut reset in my messages and I will know. My information is everywhere for you to contact me, but everybody wants to start somewhere. And I'm not going to lie. Claudette, she's 74 and she lost 45 pounds since August 28th. She did all of it. And she just turned 75 March 1st. So it depends on the level of results that you're looking for. Okay. And it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. So you could also message me all. But I'm just telling you, reach out. Don't sabotage yourself. You're in March. In 1 month, you've got tulips. In 2 months, you have graduations and weddings. In 3 months, you have, family reunions and 4th of July, 4 months. And it all happens really fast and we all have goals, okay? But you could get that food noise to simmer down, like sit down and shut up. That's a part of the trio that can really help you with that. And you can actually start to make progress and be in a completely different place as you enter into the holiday season next year. You have to think like that. You have to have that mentality. I want to be in a different place as I enter the holiday season next year. I want to be less afraid of candy season. I want to be less afraid of social events. I want to be less anxious. Okay. Ask me how I know, people. Ask me how I know. All right. Have such an amazing, blessed day. I will see you on Monday at 11 a.m. right here, Central Standard Time. And then I'm going to see you again in the group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And another round of you are going to join me, going to join us. I know it. Another round of you are going to join us in moving forward. And you are going to be so encouraged and you're going to have so many good nuggets coming your way. And you're going to be like, oh, maybe I feel a little like I'm at home right now. And that's a really good feeling that you can link arms with other women that know exactly how you feel and know exactly what it's like to think that maybe this was never going to shift for you. But here you are. Let's go. All right. So I'll see you guys on Monday. Have the best weekend ever. Make it a really good one and do something for yourself. Okay. All right. See you later.